Number 13. Stone Age shipwreck carrying obsidian cores discovered off Italian coast. The cargo of a Stone Age ship that sank off the coast of Capri in the Bay of Naples has been discovered by a team of underwater archaeologists among the scattered freight. The researchers located a large chunk of obsidian, although the identity of the sailors remains a mystery. Obsidian is a type of volcanic glass dragon glass for GOT fans that was used in prehistoric times to create blades and other tools. One of the sharpest materials on Earth, the purple-tinted igneous rock occurs naturally on some of Italy's volcanic islands, although it's unclear where this particular collection was obtained. Originally spotted by police divers last month, the Neolithic wreck was later visited by marine scientists from the Superintendency of the Metropolitan Area of Naples. Announcing the discovery, officials explained that the sunken load consisted of a series of worked obsidian cores, one of which shows clear signs of chiseling and carving on its surface, located at a depth of 30 to 40 meters. 98 to 130 feet below the surface, the large sculpted core measures 28 by 20 by 15 centimeters, 11 by 8 by 6 inches, and weighs almost 8 kilograms, 17.6 pounds. No traces of the Neolithic vessel that carried the obsidian have been recovered, although Superintendent Mariano Nuzzo said in a statement that archaeologists will now conduct an extensive instrumental survey of the seabed to verify the possible presence of the hull or other cargo material. The shipwreck was discovered near the famous Grotta Azzurra Blue Lagoon, a favorite bathing spot of Roman emperors. Going further back in time, very little is known about human activity on the island of Capri, although there is some evidence that people were present on a number of Mediterranean isles during the Neolithic period. Number 12. What's the difference between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals? Known for their protruding brows and stocky build, Neanderthals are often portrayed as a primitive prototype of the modern human, yet as our understanding of our extinct relative deepens, the image of the Neanderthal has evolved from that of an archaic ape to a surprisingly sophisticated hominid. What did Neanderthals look like? Fossil remains reveal some immediately noticeable physical differences between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. For a start, the ancient species was shorter and broader, with a wider pelvis, heavier bones, and more muscle. Evolutionary anthropologists have suggested that this thick-set build may have enabled Neanderthals to preserve more body heat, helping them survive the frosty Eurasian climate. In contrast, modern humans originating from Africa might have had less need for bulky bodies, thus explaining our flimsier frames moving up to the face. And modern humans are clearly distinguishable by their true chin, a feature not possessed by ancient hominids. Neanderthals also had significantly larger noses than we do, possibly to help them warm up the cold air they inhaled before it entered the lungs. The biggest clues as to how we differ from Neanderthals can be found in the shape and size of the skull. Overall, our cranial vault is about the same size as that of our ancient cousins. Although while we have a rounded or globular brain case, Neanderthals possessed a flatter dome, and while it's impossible to recreate the behavior of a species that disappeared from the face of the Earth 40,000 years ago, the sequencing of the Neanderthal genome in 2010 revealed that they share about 99.7% of their DNA with us. This finding, combined with recent discoveries regarding their ability to cook food, has led to suggestions that they may have been almost as smart as we are. Number 11. De-extinction of the dodo takes another step closer to reality. The mission to resurrect the dodo from extinction has just been given a boost thanks to a new partnership between Colossal Biosciences, a genetic engineering and de-extinction company, and the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation, a non-profit conservation organization that works closely with the Mauritian government. The de-extinction of the dodo is one of the central interests of Colossal's avian genomics group. With the help of the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation's expertise in avian rescue and field monitoring, the project We'll now attempt to restore the dodo's native habitats on the island of Mauritius off the east coast of Africa. Dodos fell into extinction in the 17th century when Europeans arrived in Mauritius during the Age of Colonization as chilled out, flightless birds that nested on the ground. The species became easy targets for hunters, as well as the predatory animals they introduced to the island like dogs, cats, pigs, rats, and crab-eating macaques. Their population quickly plummeted. The last confirmed sighting of a live dodo was in 1662, although statistical analysis suggests they held on as far as 1690. Either way, it's near certain there were no dodos left by the 1700s. The team is currently working with the primordial germ cells of the Nicobar pigeon, the closest living relative of the dodo, to build a reference genome. In tandem, they're also developing genetically modified chickens to act as surrogates for the dodos. Number 10. The hydraulic telegraph of Annius. A telecommunication used in ancient Greece. Telecommunication goes back a lot further than you might expect. While the word has become synonymous with television broadcasting and phone communication, it really describes any communication system over a distance and could include smoke signals. These simple signals were used to convey messages from the enemy is approaching, to the fact that a whale has beached itself and can be butchered for meat. While some ancient cultures varied smoke colors to convey further information, there's only so much you can get across with a big fire. One particularly cool ancient version of telecommunication, which aimed to convey more precise meanings, was the hydraulic telegraph. Used in ancient Greece in around 350 BCE, the idea, thought to have been invented by Annius of Stymphalus, a writer on the military at the time, was simple but neat. Each person you want to communicate with is given a jar of the same size, filled with the same amount of water. Inside the jar is a floating rod, on which was inscribed identical messages that are useful to pass along. In number 9, the Uran Constellation. What happens if you try to photocopy money? In 2002, a PhD student at the University of Cambridge's Industrial Labs was given the chance to play with a new Xerox color photocopier. As a PhD student, he naturally chose to photocopy money, but when he did so, he discovered something odd. Instead of a fresh pile of notes printed on paper which would fool precisely zero shopkeepers, he found a message printed in several languages informing him that copying money is illegal. This isn't the same across all copiers, with some that will refuse to print and others that will print but do a terrible job of it so that you don't ask it again. Kuhn, a security researcher, wasn't going to let the mystery end there. He examined his notes and found that they had an odd little pattern on them on the €10 banknote. I spotted this particularly obvious pattern of little circles, Kuhn told the BBC in 2015. I stared at it for a while and I saw that the constellation inside this pattern was recurring. Next, he conducted tests, replicating the pattern on a piece of paper and trying to duplicate that. While it printed the pattern when in black and white, he found that when he switched to using colored circles, the printer once again told him it was illegal to print money. The pattern was dubbed the Uran Constellation by Kuhn due to its resemblance to the Orion constellation. The pattern is detected by copiers, printers, and software such as Photoshop, which then refuse to allow you to do anything illegal. Number 8. The world's largest spherical structure is a technical wonder. The Sphere in Las Vegas is the largest spherical structure in the world, and building it required a lot more than engineering and architectural know-how. Over 100 patents are expected to come out to the construction of this entertainment venue. Love it or hate it, the venue is certainly unique. Its exterior is 112 meters, 366 feet tall, and 157 meters, 516 feet wide, creating a surface of 54.0 square meters, 580.0 square feet of LED display, the biggest screen in the world. Building things with curvature is not easy. Just thinking back at ancient civilizations, not all of them had worked out how to make arches. The secret is to support the structure until the curved structure can hold itself. Once the dome is topped off, if you have done your work right, it will be stable, but getting to the topping off is easier said than done. For the sphere, it happened twice. The dome or the auditorium is required 30 to trusses, each weighing 100 tons to sustain the structure. Above it, there is an exosphere 30% taller than the dome. Imagine then having to pour concrete into the structure and then having to install a humongous amount of leads both inside and outside. And you would understand the scale of the project. The external screen also needed different, but equally complex tech. After all, the lead would be exposed to weather out there. The solution was organizing them in pucks of 48, sealed with a non-reflective black silicone. The exterior surface is covered with 1.3 million of these pucks. Cleverly, they can be easily replaced if they malfunction. They all have a simple push-out pop twist way to be installed and removed. 7 strange golden egg found on the seabed off Alaska. Researchers exploring the deep ocean off the coast of Alaska recently stumbled upon a perplexing find while piloting a remotely operated vehicle rove as part of the Seascape Alaska 5 expedition. They found a mysterious golden orb on the seabed, and nobody was quite sure what it was. Journeying thousands of meters below the surface has turned up all kinds of strange finds. From creepy yellow brick roads to bizarre Mariana Trench animals. They say we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the deep sea, and when scientists are tripping over golden mystery eggs, it certainly feels like it. The shiny blob was spotted at a depth of 3.1 kilometers to miles, anchored to a rocky surface. Most curious of all, the mysterious object had a hole in it, inspiring one researcher to say during the live feed, "Something tried to get in or to get out," reports the Miami Herald. The working theories suggest it's likely either a shiny egg casing or the remains of some kind of sponge, but they have no definitive answers yet. Identifying the mystery orb will require closer inspection, and thankfully our remote-operated Nunu was able to suck up the specimen. Seascape Alaska 5 kicked off on August 23rd, trundling through the waters of Kodiak, Alaska, through to Seward. The expedition team is focusing on marine habitats below 200 meters, 656 feet, going as deep as 6,000 meters, 19,685 feet, mapping the environment as they go. Number 6. What are tactical nuclear weapons? Since the invasion of Ukraine by Russian forces, there has been speculation about whether Russia would use tactical nuclear weapons against their neighbor, but what exactly are tactical nuclear weapons? And how are they different from strategic nuclear weapons and those deployed on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II? What are strategic nuclear weapons? Strategic nuclear weapons are likely the type you are most familiar with. If not by name, they include the Fat Man and Little Boy dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Strategic nuclear weapons are designed to be dropped on strategic targets, generally much larger in yield than tactical nuclear weapons. Strategic nuclear devices are designed to be used far from battlefields, away from any potential damage to the launching state's civilians and military. Tactical nuclear weapons, aka non-strategic nuclear weapons, make up around 30 to 40% of the American and Russian nuclear arsenals, and close to 100% of stores in various other countries. They are designed for shorter range use than strategic nuclear weapons, including weapons that can be launched from air, sea, and ground. In some respects, tactical nuclear weapons are more dangerous than strategic weapons. Senior Fellow at the James Martin Center for Non-Proliferation Studies Nikolai Sokov wrote in a piece for Nuclear Threat Initiative, their small size, vulnerability to theft, and perceived usability make the existence of TNWS in national arsenals a risk to global security, and the new perception of the usability of nuclear weapons in both Russia and the United States, albeit for different reasons, could create a dangerous precedent for other countries, Sokov explained. 5. What was the first virus discovered by science? The tobacco mosaic virus was the first virus to be discovered by science. Viruses have been around for billions of years, but they were only scientifically described towards the end of the 19th century. Even then, it took decades of work to fully get to grips with these baffling invisible agents. The first step in the discovery of viruses came in 1876 when Adolf Meyer, a German agricultural chemist and director of the Agricultural Experimental Station at Wageningen, described a strange mottling disease that affected tobacco plants. He believed it was caused by bacteria or fungi, but his tests and microscopical examinations failed to find any organism. A breakthrough came in 1892 at the hands of Russian botanist Dmitry Ivanovsky, who found that the infected plant's sap remained infectious after passing through a bacteria-retaining filter. Ivanovsky knew he had found something new, although some believe he hadn't truly understood the gravity of the discovery, lying ignorant of him. In 1898, Dutch microbiologist Martinus Beijerinck independently replicated Ivanovsky's experiments and drew a slightly sturdier interpretation. Beijerinck argued that the experiment showed tobacco mosaic disease was not a bacterium, but something he called a contagium vivum fluidum, or contagious living fluid. He then began to use the word virus to describe the non-bacterial nature of the pathogen. It wasn't until 1931, with the invention of the electron microscope, that scientists were able to see viruses once again. It was the tobacco mosaic virus that took the honor of becoming the first virus captured in an image. Another huge moment occurred in the 1950s with the work of Rosalind Franklin. She used X-ray crystallography to define the structure of the tobacco mosaic virus as a single-stranded RNA molecule bounded by a protein membrane. Her other work helped to establish that DNA was a molecule consisting of two chains, which led to the famous findings of DNA's double helical structure. James Watson and Francis Crick took most of the credit for this discovery, but Franklin's contribution shouldn't be understated. Today, there is still discussion as to whether viruses are living entities. Viruses are effectively parasites. They require a living cell for reproduction and cannot be grown independently outside of their host like bacteria and other free-living microorganisms. They are, however, made out of DNA or RNA, the chemical building blocks that are central to life as we know it. Number 4. Meet the hell pigs. Terrifying ancient animals that roamed the earth for nearly 20 million years. Dinosaurs might seem like the most monstrous-looking prehistoric animals, but best believe Mother Nature cooked up all sorts of other terrifying creatures. The example we're bringing to you today is definitely one we wouldn't fancy seeing up close. Plenty of distance and a pair of binoculars would do just fine. It's time to meet the hell pigs. What are hell pigs? Hell pigs aren't just one species. The term refers to a number of species belonging to the scientific family Entelodonidae. Despite the nickname, they aren't actually pigs either. True pigs belong to a separate family known as Suidae. Hell pigs are simply pig-like in appearance. In fact, recent research has even suggested that hell pigs may have been more closely related to hippos and cetaceans than true pigs. The now extinct entelodonts are thought to have lived between 38 million years ago to 19 million years ago, with fossil evidence suggesting they could be found across the northern hemisphere. Whilst we know roughly when the group went extinct, why they did so remains unknown. What did they look like? If we're going to be polite, hell pigs weren't the most friendly-looking creatures, and they probably didn't even look that much like pigs. One of their key characteristics was a large skull with a long facial part. Species in the genus Dedon had skulls that were around 90 centimeters, 35 inches long. Entelodonts also had bony outgrowths from their lower jaws, and inside their mouth, large incisors and canines much like those seen in modern carnivores. Were they actually hellish? Whilst they might give off the appearance of a ruthless carnivore, research suggests that may not have been the case. Although previous studies had suggested that entelodonts were opportunistic hunters of large herbivores, and had teeth designed to crush bones like hyenas, research published earlier this year contradicts that theory. The study examined the microwear pattern on the teeth of Entelodon magnus, a species primarily found in Europe. The pattern revealed an omnivorous diet similar to that of wild boars. They may have fed on roots and fruit, but also possibly scavenged for meat. Number 3 mighty 13-meter Titanoboa was the largest snake ever to slither the earth. Few animals really deserve the hype they get for being truly massive. While the fat bear week winner has managed to pile on the pounds, it is nothing on the absolutely enormous creatures that once roamed the earth. And though dinosaurs often get all the credit, another giant reptile is worth mentioning. Meet Titanoboa. While the name might sound like the title of a B-movie, Titanoboa cerrigonensis was slithering around in the Paleocene approximately 66 to 56 million years ago. The enormous snake filled the niche left by the extinction of the dinosaurs, becoming the top predator in the tropical South American jungle in which it lived. In northern Colombia, in the region known as Cerrejón, one of the world's most abundant fossil deposits inside a mine revealed the bones of this spectacular snake. The researchers compared the two best preserved vertebrates to modern-day living snake species and worked out an approximate size, thought to have been around 12.8 to 14.3 meters, 40 to 247 feet long, and estimated to weigh over a ton. This colossal serpent lived in an area of thick forest and swamp, likely terrorizing all the other animals around at that time. These fossils revealed that Titanoboa was a member of the Boidae family, likely a non-venomous species. Titanoboa was probably not so dissimilar to modern-day boa constrictors, but rather than using its giant body to crush its prey to death or kill them via suffocation, it would have been an ambush predator, consuming prey with its enormous jaws. Titanoboa is the largest snake to have ever lived. Given that it was so large, the researchers suggested that the tropics would have needed to be at average temperatures of at least 33 for C86 to 93 F to support the metabolism of this giant creature in this way. These fossils shed light not only on Titanoboa itself, but also the environment in which it was king. Number to what lives at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench is filled with weird and wonderful creatures, but you might be surprised at the organisms with the largest population. The Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the world's oceans, is home to a fascinating array of unique and often mysterious life forms that have adapted to the extreme conditions of this deep-sea environment. Among the notable residents is the amphipod Halocephalus mephisto a small shrimp-like creature discovered at depths exceeding 36,000 feet, 10,970 meters. These organisms have evolved to endure the trench's intense pressure, absence of sunlight, and chilling temperatures, showcasing the remarkable resilience and adaptability of life in Earth's most profound marine realms. Apart from the distinctive amphipods, the Mariana Trench harbors other intriguing inhabitants such as giant amoebas, enigmatic jellyfish, and specialized species of snailfish. The trench's extreme environmental factors, including the absence of light and the immense pressure at great depths, create a habitat that challenges our understanding of biological possibilities despite technological advancements. In deep-sea exploration, much of the life in the Mariana Trench remains shrouded in mystery, emphasizing the need for continued research and exploration to unveil the secrets of this deep-sea ecosystem. Number 1 Egypt's baboon mummy mystery finally unraveled after 118 years of puzzlement. The mystery of mummified baboons discovered in Egypt during the late period around 800 to 540 BCE has been unraveled through a combination of biology and history. These Hamadryas baboons, not native to Egypt but sacred to the ancient Egyptians, were offered as votive tokens in honor of the god Thoth. Previous research in 2020 traced their origin to the Horn of Africa. Now, a groundbreaking study by Gisela Kopp and colleagues at the University of Constance has employed a novel genetic analysis method on the mummified primates, Focusing on mitochondrial genomes, this pioneering approach allowed the researchers to pinpoint the baboon's place of origin to an area around Eritrea, potentially linked to the legendary port of Adulis. Despite the known historical significance of Punt, an ancient trading partner with Egypt, its precise location remains elusive. The researchers propose that Punt and Adulis might be the same location, referred to by different names at different times. This aligns with the chronological fit of the baboon mummies with the last known expeditions to Punt and the geographical match with Adulis, suggesting a nuanced understanding of these historical trade networks. While the mystery of the baboons' origins seems closer to resolution, questions about their true significance and the enigmatic aspects of ancient Egypt persist, adding layers to the rich tapestry of the region's history. That's it for today. We will meet with another interesting topic very soon.